Francesca, good morning.
Good morning, Rob. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing okay.
All
Hanging
right.
in there.
By the way, you can get your questions in. We might use it in a future segment. You can always text the show, 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900, and we'll get that question to Francesca for a future Love Bite segment. All right, so here's the latest question. By the way, too, I know we should also mention through talkwithfrancesca.com, I believe there's a form there they can fill out. So.
Yes. Ask me anything. And I actually have been getting quite a few questions lately from there. I actually got one this morning that we'll talk about, which is it's kind of in sync with what the question is that you're gonna read. But anyway, you go ahead and read it, and then we'll go for it.
All right, we'll dive in here. Okay. So this question, let's see. This must be from a guy. Let's see. So we always hear about what women go through on dating apps, the weird messages, the pressure, the judgments, but I feel like no one talks about what it's like for men. Dating is a battlefield no matter what side you're on, but I feel like, Francesca, you don't talk enough about the pressure guys carry too. I mean, who is supposed to pay for the first date? If I ask a woman out for coffee, she thinks I'm cheap. Am I supposed to open the door for her? Am I supposed to text her after the date, or should I wait for her? I feel this constant pressure that I'm not sure I'm performing the role properly as a man. Help! Jim is jammed with questions. All right, Jim.
Oh, Jim, you are jamming all right, and thank you for writing in. That's quite a question. But let's start with the biggie, right? Who is supposed to pay for the first date? Because doesn't everyone want to know that? Right?
Yeah, and it's the guy.
Yeah. Well, traditionally men are expected to pay, but today not so much.
Okay.
Right?
I'm always going to pull the wallet out, though, if I were in the dating room.
Oh, you are?
I'm going to pull the wallet out, and then we'll see what someone says. But I think it's a nice gesture.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. You can offer to pay, but women still appreciate that, but they don't necessarily today expect it. Some even feel more comfortable splitting. So you can say something like, I'm happy to cover this, but totally down to split it if you'd prefer, whatever you're comfortable with. That line shows confidence. It shows some respect without overcommitting or looking cheap. What do you think about that, Rob?
So you're saying, wait a minute, now who says that?
Well, I'm saying,
because I'm trying to think, because if you're the guy and you, well, I know, does it depend on who? Let's say traditionally the guy asked the woman out on the first date, and then to say, hey, do you want to split it? It seems to me like it comes off as not. I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say cheap, but it may come off that way. I feel like, you just offer to pay, and then if someone really, really wants to split it, then you accept it. But I think I don't know, my opinion, guys. I don't know what you think. 781-837-4900. What do you think?
Well, okay, so I think our age is showing, because in a way I actually agree with you, Rob. But
what about these younger?
But the younger people,
those millennials?
If Beth were here right now,
if Beth
right?
were here, she might answer.
She would answer.
She's on vacation.
She's on vacation, right? Anyway, but then she's sunning herself right now.
Yeah, of course.
But she might not. I would bet.
I would wonder. Yeah,
I would bet. If Beth were here right this moment, she would say, I don't want anybody paying for my meal, because then I feel like I owe them something. Now, we can't call her right now because there's no phone near her. But anyway, I bet you that's what she would say. So, but I do, because I think the younger people are like, let's just make it, short and sweet. Let's meet for a cup of coffee. But yet, I think
if you split it, there's nobody owes anyone anything.
No,
just go down the middle.
Exactly.
Okay.
But here's another one. If I ask a woman out for coffee, she thinks I'm cheap. Well, you know what? When I first got divorced and I joined a dating site, and a guy wanted to go out for coffee, I was like, coffee? That's so weird. It seems so cheap. However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, a guy asked me to dinner, and I get there, and he's dressed in a suit and a tie, and he's got a bottle of very expensive champagne at the table. Well, but listen, let me tell you what I think about
this guy sounds like a keeper.
Well, no, he wasn't at all. He was a stalker.
Mr. Big Spender, though.
No, he was a big spender. But first of all, guess what?
Yeah.
I don't even like champagne. Honestly, I don't like it.
It's the finest
the
bottle,
bubbles
though.
give me gas, for God's sake.
All right.
Okay, so, no, I didn't, but it was very uncomfortable. So, a cup of coffee, not so much. A bottle of expensive champagne at an expensive steakhouse, not so much either.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. But then, coffee, maybe at Starbucks, coffee's getting more expensive. But sometimes people feel like one of those is like a great, what do they call that? Like a safe space. Just a safe space. I don't know, again, if we're going there.
Rob,
we need to. But no, I know some people feel like a Panera Bread or Starbucks.
Well, coffee does keep it casual, low pressure, gives both people a chance to vibe check before committing.
Mickey D's. We'll split a milkshake. But
it is how you frame it, not necessarily the price
But
tag.
I guess for those first dates too, those always tend to be, somewhere it's not going to be a total experience because you may not know the person as well, as opposed to, going for a walk or something like that.
Well, what happens if the person shows up and there's this? Not only are you not attracted to the person, but the person just like the sloppy kind of smells, scratching his armpits, smells like old cigarettes. And so you don't even want to even have a cup of coffee, right? I mean, these kinds of things do happen. Fortunately, that did not happen with me. But I mean, I've heard some horror stories with these dating apps, right? So anyway.
Yeah, the dating apps are interesting. Of course, I had mentioned I used that before. It worked out very well for me in the end. But there were a lot of dates that were
yes, I would love to. I was going to ask you,
what?
Did you ever have any really weird experiences? Because I actually, many years ago, I had a dating service in the old Jack Conway building before it burned down. And I'll never forget a client calling after a date and saying, this was so terrible. The guy ordered milk, asked for a straw, and was blowing bubbles.
What? No.
Well, I mean, so it's a jungle out there, Rob. It really is.
No, it was weird. I mean, I like I say, I tend to be more nervous or anxious. So there were a couple of times where I was going, and then I just I chickened out and I walked away, and that didn't go well. No.
What do you mean?
I would go, and then I couldn't go through that door, Francesca. I had so much anxiety at the time, and so
Rob.
I'm
so
sorry.
What do you mean? You ghosted them? You stood them up?
Yeah, I looked in and I said, "No, I'm sorry, Ashley," and then I walked away, and then. Later on, I couldn't believe she went out just for a consolation date, just to go out one time in the future. But she was already dating a man.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah, so that worked out.
So what would you do? What would you do?
I just couldn't get through that door because it was too new to me.
Yeah.
I'm not really a dater, so.
So what would happen did you ever have a time where you went out with someone, I don't know, you had a short date for an hour, you knew that you were not a fit? That must have happened, right?
Yeah. A few times I could tell people didn't really either like the conversation or they would just say,
it wasn't resonating.
This isn't going to go. But they sometimes would want the free dinner, and then that would kind of be it.
Oh, so you were always taking them to dinner?
Yeah, usually I think most of these were all dinners now that I think about it.
Crying out loud. Yeah. You needed to ask Ed Perry for a raise then.
Was weird.
So did you ever get into a situation where you had a date with someone and she really liked you, maybe texted you and said, I had a great time, love to see you again, and you had to say, no, we're not a good fit or we're not a romantic fit?
No, I guess most of the time they would go away eventually.
Oh, so they were leaving you?
Yeah, it worked
so you
out.
Were
it would just kind of take care of itself. Yeah, it worked out well for the most part, yeah.
Okay, all
but
right.
It just wasn't a good fit. It would just kind of fizzle away.
Okay, so did you ever think that you had a great date and then she just went radio silent?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes that would happen too. And, you can really, there's not too much you can really do after that, or else it just comes off too much, I think. I guess the other question he wanted to know about texting after the date. This is another
come on.
thing. I don't know, this guy thing about you have to wait. What is all of that about? I still no one really told me about these rules, but this is something that...
that's ridiculous.
What's that?
It's ridiculous. I mean, if you like someone, text them. Why? Because if you don't and she liked you, then she's going to start conjuring up in her mind, oh, maybe he didn't like me. So just be natural, be yourself, be genuine. I'm wondering, do we have time for one more question?
Oh, yeah, one more question.
Okay, so I want to stir the pot a little bit here. When you met your now wife, did the physical part of the relationship come naturally, or did you feel some kind of a pressure that if you didn't make a move, you might lose her?
No, I guess I felt it would just come naturally along the way. Yeah, I would feel that seemed very... It was just had a good feeling like you knew, and you would go along that way.
Well, and that's why you ended up marrying.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're out of time here, I know. So I just want to let you know that this question did come through this morning, and it's really more of a statement than a question. But she said, I would love your show to address chivalry and the modern women. I listened to this, so this is good for you, Jim. I think men are confused about how to, quote unquote, court an independent professional woman. I want them to know we still like a man to make the first move, she says, call and organize the date, give compliments, hold doors, don't expect anything, let the woman decide the level of intimacy, and ask to see us again.
There you go. And
so there's your answer. I didn't even have to be here, Jim.
Shake a lady's hand. You must stand up when a lady comes by. I love seeing that. Okay, so if people want to reach out and go through the website, how do they do that, Francesca?
They can go to talkwithfrancesca.com, click on Ask Me Anything, and I will get back to you.
All right, and of course, we'll be tuning in Wednesday nights at 8 for your full talk show.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
WATD Love Bites. We do it every week at this time. Sponsored by Meineke.
Thank you, Rob.
Bye-bye.
Bye.